Heyo, how's it going? I'm still getting some stuff running up, but how you guys doing? Everyone's having a good one. Had to fix my schedule up a little bit, but here we are. we got stuff today, I suppose, but we'll see how it goes. For a second. Alright, so we got a lot of stuff to look at. You know, the past couple days off. It's actually pretty quiet on our watch party days. It's pretty much just Voltage who showed up. So, had a few people pop in for a little bit on Monday night, but that's about it. We got through a good chunk of Fable. I didn't watch as much of the new season as I would have thought I would. I was saving some stuff for people to show up. It was a little sad. That's all good. Woo! That's a lot of tabs that just opened up on my other PC. Damn. Woo-wee. Alright, so we have plenty to look at today. Plenty to look at. Also, there is some potential as well, is that we have the Steam Next Fest is active now. But I don't know if I want to do Steam Next Fest today, because we got like the Warframe update and stuff. But I was talking to Omen earlier, and Omen seemed like they wanted to do some Rivals tonight. So I was like, you know what, that sounds fine. We'll do some Rivals. I haven't played Rivals for quite a few days now. I'm sure that would be a fun time. If anyone else ends up wanting to join us. But I'm sure most people are probably most excited for... oh. How you doing? How's it going? Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Don't go that way. Nice to see you. How you doing? How you doing? I think the main attraction today is probably going to be the big Warframe update, because we got the new story content and the new Warframes. I wonder how grindy it is going to be to get them. I mean, it's Warframe. It's probably going to be. You know how it be. Unless they're just going to give it to you for free. I know you're going to be playing as them in the story mode thing, I think. I don't know. But I don't know if we want to actually jump on the next fest or not. But we have like a massive butt ton of news to skim through. In fact, there might be more news as well. Actually, let me skim through, make sure I don't have any like little extra stuff. Oh. Whoa. Damn. Alright, okay. Let me just, ooh. Alright. We're gonna yoinkle some stuff. We're gonna start with the bad news first. This works correctly. It looks like we've lost the voice of Lilo. Former child actor, Debbie Chase. Meningitis, a serious blood infection. So that's really unfortunate. 35, ooh. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense that they're a child actor for something I watched. Alright, well, we're gonna move on from that. But that's unfortunate news to see. The Gang of Dragon, Nagoshi Studio affiliation is no longer there. So, officially, in case anyone had any doubt left in their mind, Gang of Dragon is in fact dead. I don't think anything's happening with it. Ex-Nagoshi Studio. Yeah. Okay. Man, he went as far as to have this, like, get all these people casted, have this, like, big fancy trailer, and boom, it's gone. Just like that. Just dusted. Completely gone. Man, the Game Awards has had some bad luck with some of these like big premieres. It's the type of shit that makes you wonder if the Final Fantasy VII Revelation is going to get like dusted, considering their track record of late. Turn on some music while I go through all this. Alright, so what's this? The Japanese Final Fantasy players can earn an adorable giant dog by paying their taxes. Also receive in-game costumes and vials of Fantasia. Damn. Damn. Oh man, that Fantasia vial. You can get a free race change by just doing your taxes, everybody. Man, are people really bad at doing their taxes in Japan? I do hear a lot of like creators and stuff end up getting like tax fraud or some other shit charges that like puts them down. Happens very often. Oh, and I might share something. I started playing around with Poha while we were off yesterday. Poha. I tell you right now, nothing I made looked like this shit. Because you look at this, it kind of looks like fried rice, right? Which makes sense, because it's kind of like a rice dish. It's kind of like a shaved rice thing. Here's what it actually looks like. This is Poha. It's like this like shaved rice things. And it's supposed to be you just add like a tiny bit of water and then you stir fry. Mine turned into sludge. Now, granted, I used the tapioca one. Because we have a rice one and tapioca one. But it's also supposed to be chunky and kind of like fried rice. It's supposed to have the same consistency. Mine was sludge. Mine was complete sludge. Does it taste good? It tastes fine. But it didn't look like any of this shit. I tried my best. That's just regular tapioca. Thought I'd share that. Which I should munch some of this actually. Yeah, some more bad news. Apparently, Stop Killing Games is hitting a little bit of a roadblock. Disappointing ripples across Stop Killing Games movement today after the European Commission delivered its verdict on the recent parliamentary hearings around online game preservation. How the EU intends to help or not movement. So this verdict relates to the citizens movement, which is where we've had most of our concerns that games can exist without multiplayer. Their full price games are unplayable. And was debated. Very positive. Okay. The mission did succeed. I need to cook this longer. Is this a new video? Thought I was watching on YouTube, but okay. Where does it go? Oh yeah, we have some Jasmine gameplay today too. Why is this not YouTube? Weird. You can like wait. You can do like a multi like person thingy on. Okay.
I have some updates for the Stop Killing Games campaign. One for the EU and one for the United States. We'll start with the EU. First, a decision
this is like
from the EU
4 days
Commission
ago.
is coming up soon for the European Citizens Initiative on June 16th.
What's this so quiet?
Now, seeing as how most of the attention of the campaign has been on the initiative, you might think this is it. This is what will determine if we can solve the problem of publishers destroying games or not. But no, it's really not.
That's better.
I'll get to that. But before I do, let's talk about how things have been going with the Commission. Over time, there's been a pattern of behavior that's caused us to not be optimistic on the direction things are heading. Some of this we've already talked about. First, in July of 2025, there was that Euractiv report about an accidentally leaked statement that was pulled down so fast we didn't get to see it, but according to the article, the Commission was planning to have a non-binding communication on this issue. And this was before we had even finished collecting signatures or presented any evidence. Next, when we had our first meeting with the Commission in October, I'm told the tone there was that they were looking for reasons to reject the initiative. And they used industry talking points, calling games living, breathing things, even though that's irrelevant since the initiative only focuses on games that are no longer being updated. But most of all,
They're doing a bad job
they
listening.
were seeking a deregulatory agenda. Well, since the whole point of the Citizens Initiative is to have better regulation, I can see where those two things might be at odds. Later in February, there was another meeting with the Commission, and the questions they had would take a whole other video in themselves to go over, but the short version is they didn't feel neutral. They felt more like what you would expect from a prosecutor. And some of them were repeats of questions we had already answered. And this happened in a meeting we had in May also. I wasn't present at most of the meetings, but I've been told by organizers that we may have answered some of the same questions from the Commission at least 3 separate times now. Like how we're not asking for endless support, that's a big one. Or games with third-party licensed content like car brands or music can still be played after those licenses end. They just can't continue being sold. It's kind of like we're starting at zero with the Commission every time. Furthermore, the Commission has quoted
that shit gets frustrating for me.
That don't address the problem. In fact, that's exactly what prompted us to have a whole slide on those at the parliamentary hearing, because these came directly from the Commission. And that's before we consider the representation. The EU initiative represents at least 1.3 million people in the EU. However, the industry, according to the lobby, is representing 116,000 people as of 2024. And I have no reason to doubt those numbers, though there have been a lot of layoffs since that data was collected, but whatever, let's give them that. So we're representing at least
if there even still exists,
yeah, as many people. And these are only the dedicated people who went out of their way to sign the initiative. The real number is likely far higher. But even this comparison assumes everyone in the industry is not being represented by our side, which definitely isn't the case. Back when the lobby Video Games Europe made a statement against the movement, one of the members, Epic Games, came out and said they were uncommitted on this issue. So that statement wasn't coming from them. And member BeamNG flat out said they disagreed with the statement, and to the best of their knowledge, weren't even consulted on a vote. But the industry has had at least 3 times more meetings with the Commission on this than we have. But I'm told by political insiders this doesn't even come close to representing the full picture, since most meetings don't use the transparency register. And the conservative estimate is the industry has been meeting with the EU regulating bodies hundreds of times on this. But it's probably thousands. It's like I've said before, the industry is spending more money lobbying against having end-of-life plans in games than it would cost them to actually implement them in the future. Now, some meetings that have been disclosed are with EU Commissioner Michael McGrath flying to California to talk with members of the Entertainment Software Association, like Electronic Arts, Roblox. And just recently, before the Commission's decision, they've had another meeting with lobby group Video Games Europe, which was invite only and private. So unlike our parliament hearing, there's no public record of it. In other words, it was a meeting about consumer policy in video games where nobody representing consumers was invited. What this all means is, just going by the numbers of people involved,
so they're just making shit up.
The industry, or rather some members of the industry, are being overrepresented to the Commission by at least 30-1. But it might be closer to 300-1. It's hard to say. I think this explains why I have to keep answering the same questions from the Commission over and over again, and how they sometimes seem to be operating on bad information on how video games actually work. It's like talking to that guy from the movie Memento. Taken all together, this has not given us confidence that we're going to get legislation proposed by the Commission.
Goddamn.
This is especially noticeable when we look at how progress in California has gone. We've been working to get similar legislation passed there too, in the form of Assembly Bill 1921. Compared to the EU Commission, that has just been night and day in terms of procedure. We made our proposal, the state legislature recognized this was a problem, there was some back and forth with revision and clarification. Later, the industry made their stance known, in parts of which they straight up lied. I was even asked to make a video going through it. I especially like how they said allowing players to continue playing games with third-party content after support ends is impossible when that's literally been done in hundreds of games before, and we gave some examples. So the State Assembly saw right through the false claims, and the bill has proceeded forward. However, since then, it has been modified so all existing games will get grandfathered in. Okay, see, that's what a compromise looks like. We want games to stop being destroyed. The industry wants nothing to change. So both sides are getting some of what they want. This revision will protect less games and take longer to go into effect, but it means games farther in the future will still get protected. That's still a win. Compare this to that slide of non-solutions, and it's like we're on a different planet. Especially when the Entertainment Software Association is even more aggressive than Video Games Europe. Which brings us to the U.S. news.
Oh, yeah.
Just recently, the ESA
Got that one bill
came
moving
out and used the same debunked arguments again, hoping this time they can hoodwink the state Senate, since they were unsuccessful at tricking the State Assembly. Okay, there's more to say about the EU, and if you saw this video, you know exactly where this next part is going. In fact, feel free to skip ahead if you want. But
well, I mean, I don't think I watched that. So
have insisted I
fill me in, buddy.
Statement by the ESA also. So
let's put too much salt in this.
I'll try and be quicker this time. We'll just run through the bigger parts. A proposed California law is threatening the modern gameplay experience by misunderstanding how online services work. Misunderstanding. No, this is gaslighting. The bill understands how games work. The ESA just doesn't like its conclusions with how the industry is behaving. This is like saying farmers who want to repair their tractors but are blocked by John Deere misunderstand how tractors are made. Oh yeah, that's real honest framing. But don't take my word for it. They say it's misunderstanding how they work. Okay, fine. What exactly is the bill misunderstanding? Because that's a bold claim. Well, they tell you. Keeping it running indefinitely. See, there it is. It's going to come up again and again. Their explanation of what is being misunderstood is something the bill is not asking for. If you read over this bill, you will not find one mention of publishers needing to host or maintain a game indefinitely. The ESA is making this up. This is what's known as a lie by paltering. We'll see this again.
Lie by paltering?
I could say more about rebuilding a game that
I actually don't know that word.
Built yet, especially when local test environments are common, but this isn't the most important part, so let's move along. Same goes for full refunds. Just remember, games become more valuable once they're no longer published.